I've only ever seen one video on this lanyard, so I have to guess that that's the inventor of it. So I'm gonna link that video in the description if you want to check that out as well, because I like to make it crystal clear that these are not my original designs 9 times out of 10. But I found it cool, tried it out last night, and I decided that I like it. So, as you can see, it requires 4 strands. It's called the twisted chevron, or at least that's what I'm calling it, because it doesn't really have an official name, I don't think. And all these need to be the same length, okay? This is a 3x1, but we'll be using each strand the exact same amount. So that's why they all have to line up with each other. This lanyard starts off with a swirl starting stitch, so we're going to do just that. Take one of your strands that you want in the middle, or the strand you want in the middle, and do what you need to do. Bring it over around to have loop in a strand, and loop in a strand. Take the next color you want. I think I'll use pink. And you're gonna surround your yellow, or whatever color you're using. Have it on the right. Take the strand in the front, bring it behind this yellow strand, over and around to make loop in a strand and loop in a strand. And you can push this together if you want. This doesn't need to be so spread out. Last but not least, for these pieces anyway, I'm gonna take purple, and I'll hang it on the left, and you're gonna take strand in the front and bring it in front of these, or behind the pink and yellow. And bring it over and around to make a loop and a strand. On the back you have a loop and a strand. You know what comes next? Your last string. Run it under all the strands and the loops. And you're going to reach at the center. And you're going to take your left strand and bring it over and under to the right, as usual. There we go. You can take that off your finger and tighten it up. So good for you, you've started. First thing we're going to do is something that's a little bit more boring in this lanyard. We're just going to do a wall stitch. To stay in the frame. And that really needs to not twist. So yeah, pretty boring start, but now we're going to do a chevron stitch. If you don't know what that is, I'll show you. So you always start with the left side. You see here in this stitch, the top strand is on the right, the bottom strand is on the left. And we're going to flip that. So you're going to take the top strand on the right and bring it down. You're going to take the bottom strand on the left and bring that up. And so you need a strand to go over this strand and through that loop. So that's your yellow, or whatever color you're using at home. So bring that through. And because of that, you need a loop to be right next to this strand, and a strand to be right next to this loop. So you're going to take your strand right next to this. For me, that's green. Bring it over and under. And this needs a loop next to it, that needs a strand next to it, and that's the pink, the strand that's already there for you to use. And your strand of the same color should be there right next to it. And you want the strand that's the color after your previous strand to be next. And for me, that's green. So you're gonna bring that over and under. In your last strand, self-explanatory, it's the only place you could possibly put it anyway. So you have this stitch, and it's very slanted, very wonky looking. And with that, you're going to do a wall stitch right on top of that. And you can see that your long pieces are a different color now. They were once green, and they're now purple. And there's nothing special about this. This is the more boring part of the lanyard, as I said before. And then once you have that, you're going to do another chevron stitch right on top of that. So of course, the top strand is on the right, the bottom strand is on the left. And that's what all of your wall stitches are going to look like too, okay? So your chevron stitch is going to look the exact same every time as well. I'm going to show you this again. and pull that tight. And you can just barely start to see the shape of the lanyard forming. It's going to twist, but the way that the colors lay out, it's going to look like there's stripes down the middle or down the sides. I'll show you with this one that I was working on last night. You can see the twisted pattern. So it almost looks like if a swirl stitch and a corkscrew stitch were combined. But the colors go straight down. The yellow, the purple, the orange, and the white. And you can see speckles of the other colors on the sides. Like when you look at it here, the colors are more speckled. This is a very interesting design, very cool concept. So yeah, keep working on this, and I'll come back when I'm finished with mine and I'm ready to finish it off with you. Alrighty, I now want to finish, and this is what the lanyard looks like so far. And the purple strands have gotten super uneven for some reason. I think they might have been like that in the beginning, so that's cutting my lanyard short either way. So you can either do this on top of a chevron stitch or a super brick stitch, doesn't really matter. But I'm just doing it like this because wall stitch would come next anyway. So I'm just doing a wall finishing stitch. And you should know how to do this by now. And you should know what to do here. And pull it tight. And I probably edited this out, but if you hear, or if I said that I was sniffling a lot, it's because I'm not sick, not crying, I was just sneezing a bunch a few minutes ago before recording this clip. So that's why. And here you have this beautiful lanyard, and I still really like the colors of this. Maybe if I added a neon green, it would look cooler. And you're going to cut the ends off like normal. And you can toss those out. And there you go, you have the twisted chevron lanyard with a very cool pattern and feel. And I love the way that as you look at the edge, I said this before, but the colors are speckled and in their pattern. But overall, they're just down in lines like this, like stripes in a way. Both of these look cool. And this is for sale, by the way, so if anyone wants to buy that, DM me on Instagram and we'll talk from there. Alright. This is a new design that I learned, and it's pretty cool, and I might do more of those when I have lanyards to sell. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.